So picture this. You've got a simple, cozy cooking system, but what happens when you push that system to its absolute mathematical limits? Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are breaking down a truly fascinating narrative. We're going to dive into how a character named Xiao uses this gamified, point-based cooking dimension to literally alter the fate of an entire nation. What starts out as this desperate micro-level struggle just to survive rapidly snowballs into a massive macro-level story of national defense and even desert terraforming. It is an absolutely wild journey of progression mechanics, and I seriously cannot wait to share how she pulls it all off. Think of this explainer kind of like our quest log. First up, the gourmet space mechanics. 2, unlocking space upgrades. 3, building a business empire. And finally, number 4, from farm to battlefield. Let's get into it.
All right, part 1, the gourmet space mechanics, surviving through cooking.
Okay, so right at the start, Xiao gains access to something called the gourmet space. It's essentially a magical, level-based pocket dimension, and the rules are super straightforward, actually. It rewards her with points every time she discovers, cooks, or records an ingredient. Those points then function as a currency she can spend in this spatial exchange mall. Now, early on, her goals aren't exactly grand. I mean, she's living in ancient times, her family is severely impoverished, and she's honestly just using this magical space to buy 20-point fishing bait to catch fish, just hoping to drag her family out of poverty. The core loop here is honestly so satisfying. Step 1, you discover or cook something. Step 2, you record it in the space. Step 3, you earn points. And Step 4, you spend those points on seeds, bait, or upgrading the space itself. So she catches a fish, boom, 10 points. She sneaks into the kitchen and whips up a pickle-boiled fish, boom, 200 points. Even doing something as basic as making a steamed bun with meat inside triggers a 200-point reward, simply because the system grades you on the level and the quality of the food. But here is where she really starts gaming the system. 500 points. Xiao realizes that cooking advanced, premium recipes causes these massive point spikes. When she creates something like a crystal jelly using finely processed fish gelatin, or cooks up this complex, stuffed yellow croaker, the system recognizes that these dishes completely surpass the current culinary level of her space-time. It's like she's introducing futuristic tech into an ancient world, just through food, and the system rewards her incredibly well for it. Which brings us to part 2. Unlocking space upgrades, the mathematical scaling of time. Now, the mathematical escalation here is just absurd. This gourmet space is definitely not a static warehouse. Every single time she levels up, the internal time flow actually multiplies. So at level 3, crops grow 3 times faster. By the time she hits level 10, time is flowing 10 times faster. And she unlocks this special 1-by-1 farmland that operates at 100 times normal speed. Fast forward to level 29, and she's experiencing a 29 times multiplier. Plus, she can project the space's properties out into the real world over a 29 by 29 meter area. And guys, it is not just about farming speed. Listen to these wildly overpowered magical abilities she unlocks along the way. She gets a food processing factory for instant auto slaughter and prep. I'm serious. She literally touches a wild boar, and it instantly processes into clean meat. Then she gets a time hut to alter local time flow. She actually uses this to let her brother study all night in just a fraction of real-world time. And it gets crazier. She unlocks range control, which lets her literally mind control targets for a few seconds. By level 20, she unlocks NPC projection, summoning up to 20 workers to act as her eyes, ears, and labor force. The space evolves from a cute little garden into a full-blown logistical fortress. It's exactly like the AI system itself gleefully says, "The higher my level, the higher the speed." That quote perfectly nails the limitless progression ceiling driving Xiao forward. The more she cooks, the faster she grows. The faster she grows, the more she can cook. It is just the perfect feedback loop. Moving right along to part 3, building a business empire, earning points on autopilot. Notice how her entire point strategy shifts here. She stops relying solely on those first-time recipe records. Instead, she figures out a way to earn 10 points for every single delicacy sold in her franchise shops. By establishing this massive supply chain and just letting other people sell her recipes, she completely breaks the game's economy. She's suddenly generating points on absolute autopilot. To put that into perspective, she hits a payout of 150,000 points. That is the dramatic, massive leap she gets in a single instant, just from finalizing contracts for 15 franchise shops, including the hugely successful So It's You Milk tea shop. I mean, she went from literally scraping together 20 points for fish bait to pulling in six figures overnight. But of course, she doesn't stop there. Xiao Xiao actively hunts down exploits in the system. She figures out there are these hidden missions. By intentionally spending points in her exchange mall to buy foreign seeds that don't natively exist in her ancient timeline, stuff like tomatoes and peppercorns, she actually triggers the Origin of Species hidden mission. Every new species she introduces drops a massive 10,000-point reward instantly. She's out here playing 40 chess with agricultural history.
All right, the final stretch, part 4. From farm to battlefield, a nation's fate rewritten.
Things escalate incredibly fast here. We're talking rapid-fire national interventions. In month 1, she secretly uses the infinite water storage of her space to literally absorb a flooding river, completely preventing the Lu Prefecture Dam from collapsing. By month 3, she's utilizing her accelerated farmland to mass-produce dehydrated vegetables, single-handedly fixing the supply chain for a 100,000-strong border army. And by month 5, she is right on the front lines, dealing with a biological attack. She practically becomes an army's entire logistics department wrapped up into one person. And you better believe the system rewards this kind of macro-level intervention. Actions that alter the fate of the entire nation trigger the ultimate hidden mission, benefiting the common people. That drops a staggering 100,000 points per completion. And she immediately funnels those massive payouts right back into leveling up her space, pushing that time multiplier and projection range deep into the 20s so she can handle this escalating war against the Xiongnu invaders. So let's actually break down how she neutralizes a biological attack using nothing but farming and shopping mechanics. First, she uses her space's ingredient identification tool, the thing normally meant for scanning food, to scan infected soldiers. She uses it to diagnose a low-grade infectious herpes virus that was masquerading as deadly smallpox. Second, she opens up her space mall and drops 7,500 points to buy 800 modern anti-inflammatory medicines. And finally, she deploys her level 23 spatial projection right over the medical tents. Because time moves 23 times faster inside that projection, the soldiers get accelerated healing rest. She literally cures an epidemic overnight. It really highlights the night and day difference she makes. In the original doomed timeline Xiaojia kept seeing in her dreams, there was massive starvation, the rivers dried up, the border was lost to the Xiongnu, and the empire ultimately fell. But in the reality Xiaojia actually forged, the army is fed, the virus is completely cured, and she's out there planting poplar trees to terraform the desert. She even uses her range control ability to mind control a recently deceased Xiongnu soldier, turning him into a zombie that attacks his own prince, completely terrifying the enemy leadership. It's just a staggering escalation, right? Going from struggling to afford a basic fishing bait to single-handedly defeating empires and terraforming deserts, all through the clever gamification of what is basically a cooking app. Which really leaves us with one incredible lingering thought. If a simple cooking system can pull all of this off by level 29, what kind of godlike power awaits at level 100? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope it left you as fascinated by these progression mechanics as I am.